Call of Duty. It's been something that has been a highlight throughout most of my childhood as a gamer. I've loved it, frankly. I have been through most of the generations. I've played every COD from COD 4 to the most recent, which this video is going to be talking about. In terms of anyone I have on PlayStation 4, I have, let's take a look, shall we? PlayStation 4 releases. I did have Ghost and Advanced Warfare, but I just got rid of them. I didn't really play them a lot at all, but these ones I did. Black Ops 3 was kind of rough, although the campaign was god-awful. You had Infinite Warfare, which I only played for Modern Warfare Remastered, and Modern Warfare Remastered, by the way, is a very good video game. Don't tell me otherwise. COD World War II. At first I thought it was alright, but I can see a bit clearly that it's a bit rough around the edges. Modern Warfare, that was lit. Except for when it first released, and basically you couldn't play because everyone used 725 or the M4. But it was an absolute phenomenal game. The graphics, the detail, and the story was captivating. Except for Spec Ops. Spec Ops was awful in that. It also gave way to Warzone. Warzone was fun for me. And then you have Black Ops 4, but Black Ops 4 wasn't that much of a game I can remember, honestly. And now I do have, like, most of the game. The other one that I did buy was Cold War. Now that I probably underrate that because it's a lot more fun. Except for multiplayer. Multiplayer still feels the same, but zombies and campaign feel like the best experience out of that. So here we are with this video talking about Vanguard. Call of Duty Vanguard. The memes about it compared to Battlefield 2042, honestly, at this point, kind of feel mixed because Battlefield 2042 looked good and it had a better idea of execution. It was something that we know they are good at in some manner. But then Vanguard, knowing that it came from Sledgehammer, didn't look as good. The trailers and everything showed the comparison, and Vanguard was not doing so good. Especially with the fan service. Yes, that one. And then you had the issue of the actual betas of both games. Vanguard's had mostly issues with balancing, but I'm guessing it's fixed at the moment. But then Battlefield 2042 just couldn't work. Broke, glitches, mechanics, score system. The game is just fucked. But is Vanguard equally fucked? I'd say in some areas. It's not the brightest game by far. There's no way it is. So, I'm going to break down 3 separate parts, as per usual, of Call of Duty: the campaign, zombies, and multiplayer. I'll talk about certain aspects of the game, and I'll give my point of view. The only thing I'll say is that I won't say much about the campaign, because to be honest, so far I've actually found it quite captivating, so I'll explain basic details about the campaign, but I won't go into much, because honestly I've enjoyed it. So, with the rest of the hand, I will give detail. I'll talk about the good, the bad, the beautiful, and the ugly. And the ugly is quite ugly, I'll tell you that. The campaign for Vanguard is a bit odd so far. At first I thought the idea it was an alternate history of like, what if the war lasted longer or something, and it turns out that's not really the case. It is alternate in some manner. It is the Second World War, but instead of it not being after or a bit being extended, it's alternate twists in the story. For example, being that the basic plot is that you are a special forces squad with different people from different parts of the front lines. You've got an American, Australian, British person, another British guy that I don't even know what the fuck he's doing at the moment, and Russian, which the Russian is female, so that's pretty interesting, and she's probably the most badass character so far. Story-wise, they're trying to uncover a plot of what's it called again? Project Phoenix, which is apparently this Freisenhauer or SS officer who's really fucking evil or some sort of shit. And they're trying to find out what he's up to, some sort of project. and it's behind Hitler's back, so it does create some speculations. If you're someone who's heard on the internet or anything about the campaign, then you might know some spoilers. But to be honest, the rest of the story, I know I'm aware of what happens, but I'm not going to say anything. But it is captivating enough to keep me interested. So far, I am interested in Vanguard. Is it better than World War II's campaign? 100%. It's a lot more unique. You see, World War II's campaign felt a bit too simplistic in its execution, and also the whole fact that I've heard the whole World War II soldier writing a journal, writing in his journal about the experiences, blah blah blah, all comedic, blah blah blah, Americans. The problem was that it only stuck to one point of view for me with World War II, and how World at War previously had multiple points of view from the Americans in the Pacific and the Russians in the Eastern Front. Now this gives us roughly 4 points of view, but it all circles back in Germany. You've got the war in Pacific, Africa, the Eastern Front, and the Western Front, I think. I don't know, I haven't played it that hard to get. The characters, particularly Arthur and Polina, are probably my favourites so far. Wade has got quite an interest in me so far. And then, by the way, they're all the different characters. Whatever. I won't spoil it too much. The gameplay for the campaign, it's mostly good in some aspects. You might find some moments where for some reason your character's slowing down, it feels kind of forced. But overall, the campaign's actually pretty good with most of its gameplay story-wise. Any nitpicks, it's probably the fact that for some reason, you never get access to the Lee Enfield and multiplayer zombies, but in here, you get the Lee Enfield. It's advertised in the fucking box, on like the fucking game, in the trailers, and yet you don't get to use it in multiplayer, which is kind of strange, because I'm not sure it'd require that much just to get a singular gun into the multiplayer and zombies. And another nitpick probably is the dogs. For some reason, the dogs one-shot you in this, and they are fucking deadly, which is why they become my biggest fucking hatred in this game. It's the only time I'll ever hate a dog in Call of Duty or video games besides Soap, but Soap's just Soap and he does his thing. The score in this game is actually quite nice. I love the score in this so far. Nothing too memorable at the moment, but so far it's pretty good. I mean, you're going to have a hard time trying to find something like the top World at War soundtrack. I mean, just take a listen. World at War is the only soundtrack you'll ever find of me making a compliment about a soundtrack that is bone-chilling. It's the very first thing you hear and it sets the tone right away, and it fucking gives me chills every time. So overall, the campaign of Vanguard is actually pretty decent, and in terms of the other campaigns like Cold War, Modern Warfare, no, it's not that kind of quality. Modern Warfare kept me captivated with the certain characters, recognizable, situations, I'm trying to think, the score as well. I found the score a lot better in Modern Warfare, especially like Piccadilly Circus. That soundtrack piece was fire. As for Cold War, I felt Cold War's campaign was a lot more captivating in terms of the characters and what you can do in Cold War, the different endings, side missions, and how it was executed. So Vanguard's campaign overall is a pass, but I will not say it's the brightest campaign. So I'm gonna give Vanguard maybe 5 out of 10. Vanguard Zombies is actually quite impressive and yet odd. It's not the worst zombies experience I've had, but it's like Outbreak, where it has certain levels of difficulty and it's not round based. Although in terms of everything else, it does have somewhat similar execution to most zombies. Reviving someone is just like in Spec Ops, there's some combination of too much. You've got, for armor, you have to go to the stand like you did for the grenades and stuff and kill streaks. The map itself is the only map. It's pretty good there, Anfang. You've got the usual areas, buying areas. Don't buy them, they're just unlock them for free from Blitz and Harvest, and that's how you unlock more areas within the map. So, for the map itself, it's pretty passable. Different perks is that they're free for the first time, but they have different tiers, and you can buy them in-game. That doesn't mean they last throughout the entirety of the zombies experience. And they rank up to, I think, 5, I think? With Elemental Pop, instead you can buy certain perks that are for help with gunplay in the hearts thing, and that's how you unlock certain perks for guns. And the mystery box, unlike the last Call World War II game, had still the same jingle, which I like. Although strangely, for Pack-a-Punch, with most, it doesn't have that nice cool skin. Overall, I'd probably give Zombies in Vanguard maybe 7 out of 10 for its unique-ish turn, although in terms of anything else, I still think Black Ops 1 and Cold War, World at War, and Black Ops 2 with DLCs are probably the best in terms of zombies. Multiplayer for Vanguard is kinda mixed. I mean, the issue is fully everyone keeps on using the STG-44 and the MP40. That needs nerfed big time. Nothing much really to complain about. Obviously there's complaints, but nothing too heavy to fucking piss me off. The operators are all the same, which is quite a bit an issue, because especially if you're a hardcore player, because that means that the same operators that can be on your team can be the same operators on the enemy team. So that means that you're basically going around trying to avoid your shots, or you play the game like a free-for-all and you might not get bullied for it. In terms of the maps, you've got their 16, which isn't a lot, but compared to what World War II had with its number of maps, it was alright. And also because the maps here are a lot more varied. With World War II, it was always left, middle, right, and no levels and underground. But this, it does have different levels and designs. The game modes are the usual same, nothing too much different, except for a few different playlists. The multiplayer, for what it is nothing too much that would cause me to want to be upset. You do get new player of the games and player votes of team MVPs. That's pretty interesting how they show that, and that's what catches my attention, like there's me for example. And it shows all these animations, which is pretty lit. With Modern Warfare, you have the return of field upgrades like armor plates and dead silence. Kill streaks are similar with care packages and all sorts, and attack dogs have made a return. Overall, Vanguard is, in terms of its multiplayer, decent for what it is. What's new is the pacings that you can have. There's the pacings, you have casual, which is or tactical, 6v6, assault, which is 7v7 or 8v8, and then there's blitz, which is absolutely fucking mad, and you can have 16v16. Or is it 12? 12, it's probably 12v12. And that's where shit gets absolutely fucking bonkers, and you are trying a bit much with it. Guns wise, you've got your assault rifles, SMGs, marksman rifles, LMGs, bolt action rifle, and you got a riot shield. You got the classic few, so you got the STG, the usual MP40, PPSH, Thompson, Stem gun, M1 Garand, the bar, Mosin gun, Car 98, Type 99, M1911, POA, DP28, MG482. Yeah, the game, the guns. We'll talk about guns further in detail later on, but overall, I think Vanguard's multiplayer is pretty decent for what it is, but I can obviously spot the problems very easily in terms of some other scenarios. Operators mainly, and also small details like, for example, your team is simply referred to as my team, and the enemy team is referred to as enemy team. So that's not the brightest. Camos wise, all similar to World War II, except for the like challenge camos like gold, diamond, and they have a new one, atomic, which is a moving camo, which is quite interesting. I can't really think of what else to say about Vanguard multiplayer. It's not that bad, to be honest. But maybe this is personal preference, and maybe I might change my views later on, but I can't really think of much to say that's bad about Vanguard's multiplayer, to be honest. A few small nitpicks would probably be one of the operators. For some reason, during the highlight, they want to close their eyes when they're shooting. Now here I want to take a moment to discuss the guns in Vanguard, which are quite odd in some manner. As I'm showing a little comparison here, you can see some similarities with some of the guns overall. Decent variety in terms of weapons overall, bar the snipers and pistols, which I believe is a bit criminal. And marksman rifles, only 3 marksmen, 3 sniper rifles, and like 4 pistols. Kinda sad. So I'll just the sounds and reloads themselves are actually pretty decent for what they are. I mean, obviously I'm having a comparison of Battlefield 5 here, and you can see some obvious differences, which aren't too bad per se, although I think it's obvious that in terms of the quality of the sound, Battlefield knocks it way out of the park here. I mean, even for a small detail you see in a second here of the finger jam with the M1 Grand. That's a detail that I'll say Battlefield 5 does way better in terms of the guns and mechanics. The guns themselves feel mostly balanced except for the STG-44 and the MP-40. Those are not balanced whatsoever. They're dominating every match, and please Activision, do something about it. It's kind of cancer, to be honest. I'll talk about the last few moments in terms of Vanguard. I think overall it's an alright game in terms of its mechanics wise and the whole system of how it's working. I think it's pretty good for what it is at the moment. Nothing too bad. Although, I mentioned the ugly part in the intro, so I'll show that ugly right here and now. And boy is it fucking ugly. Overall, for Call of Duty Vanguard, at the moment, from what I've seen, it's doing pretty well. Compared to Cold War and Modern Warfare, I'll say probably not as much. It's not getting my attention as much. It's not as captivating as Cold War and Modern Warfare, but from what it is so far, I'll say Vanguard's okay so far. I mean, maybe later on with the campaign I might spot some issues, might not be captivated. Multiplayer might get worse in terms of balancing the weapons, because currently, as I've said, MP40 STG very much broken. Zombies overall, I'm quite interested to see where it goes, because they're going for a new style here, which can work for me. It doesn't work for some players, it's very nitpicky for some. With Battlefield though, Battlefield 2042, I'm going to just mention this here randomly, I might get that game, but seeing how it performed on current gen console, which I currently only have, I might get an Xbox One S. I might just let it pass. So, overall that's my view on Vanguard. It's a okay game. And as a whole, I'm going to give Vanguard a 6 out of 10. Tritty04, I hope you enjoyed the video.